Hello, amazing parents. Welcome to the Reducing Spasticity Without Stretching, the legs and the feet version. So we're going to be focusing on 3 ways to reduce spasticity with specific focus on the legs and the feet. So my 3 universal ways to reduce spasticity is to 1, support the brain in what it's already doing. So supporting your child's nervous system, their brain, in what movements they're already doing. So it's actually supporting them in the spasticity that you're seeing. Their brain is sending the signal to their muscles to contract. And when you support in that contraction, often what happens if you support gently and hold, because their brain is sending the signal to contract, often if you support them in that contraction, what happens is it disrupts that brain pattern, that signal that the brain is sending to the muscle, because you're helping them accomplish the task. You're helping them accomplish the signal that the brain is sending, and often it creates a bit of space and a disruption of the pattern. So you can add in a little bit of tiny variation to that supporting the system, and their brain is getting new information then. So you're kind of pulling them out of the habitual pattern by supporting them and then adding in a little bit of variation, which is the better way to learn. Because if you're taking them out of their habitual pattern, say by stretching or putting them in a position that they're not comfortable with, because of that spasticity, when their brain is sending the signal to their muscles to contract, and you're taking them out of that, you're forcing them in a different position that doesn't support that contraction. If it's painful or uncomfortable, their brains aren't in a learning mode. So you've lost that opportunity to add in new information for their brain, and they're not in a learning mode. So we want to keep our kids in learning modes, keep supporting them to create the opportunity for them to learn new things. And one of the ways is, if your child has spasticity, is to support their brains in what they're already doing and then add tiny variations in that support. So I'll show you what that looks like. The second way is through simple body mapping. So often our kids with spasticity, just their brains haven't fully developed the map of that whole part of their body that has spasticity, because it's kind of locked in a certain position. So they don't know, their brains don't know that that they're everything to know about that one limb. So say if it's their leg and their leg has spasticity in like this, and it doesn't really move out of that position, their brain might not know that all the different parts. So we're helping through our hands build a fuller and fuller picture of where their body is in space. And that is a really, really important thing for our brains to know, is where is our body in space, and what do our body parts have, like what potential do our body parts have. So you can do that through your slow, gentle movements, through your gentle hands, kind of mapping a fuller and fuller picture for their brain. So I'll show you how to do that as well. So the first one is supporting your child where they're at, and then adding a little bit of variation. The second part is simple body mapping, with, in relation to the legs and the feet. And then the third thing is to actually, wherever you see spasticity, if there's spasticity in the foot or the calf area or the lower leg, often I will guarantee you that there will be some sort of chronic contraction in the spine and the pelvis. So often working away from the source of what you're seeing with the spasticity, working closer to the pelvis, the spine, the ribs, creating more movement in the pelvis, the spine, the ribs, will overflow into better organization of the rest of their body, the rest of the whole body. So often you'll see that this is what you'll see your ABM practitioners. If you go see ABM practitioners, what you'll see them do is often they won't even touch the leg or the arm that has spasticity. They will be focused on exploring more movement in the pelvis and ribs and spine. So I will show you some of those little tips, as well as working away from the body. So the first part